and today we are going to be making pimento cheese spread. Hello everyone, welcome to Butterfly Meadows Homestead. I'm Dorinda, and if you've never had it, you are going to want to try it, especially if you love cheese. You know, it's that time of the year, it's Christmas time, and there's always lots of get-togethers and gatherings where you have to take food to, and usually, you know, if it's just little parties and whatnot, it's finger foods and things that are easy to eat. And pimento cheese is very versatile. You can use it on crackers to eat with crackers. You can make sandwiches out of it. Some people even add it to baked goods and things like that. But the way we eat it is mostly either as a dip or on a sandwich. Either just plain on a sandwich, or you can add it in addition to the meat that you're putting on your sandwich. It is a delicious little spread. It is easy to make. It's a southern thing. I printed off some facts. I know not everybody knows what pimento cheese is. I know I used to work with this lady, and one day I was eating my lunch and I had a pimento cheese sandwich, and she was like, "What is that you're eating?" And I said, "It's pimento cheese." And she said, "What in the world is pimento cheese?" And she didn't know, and she had never had it before. And then is when I realized not everyone grew up eating pimento cheese spread. So it may be something you're not familiar with, but if you want to impress your friends and take something different to the party, or have something different at your house when you're having snacks, make this pimento cheese. Now you can buy pimento cheese spread in the grocery stores, at least you can around here, but it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same flavor. But if you make your own homemade, I guarantee you're going to love it, especially if you have cheese lovers in your house. So I printed off a few facts because, you know, I did the research. Since not everyone knows what pimento cheese is, I'm like, where exactly did it come from? Because, you know, I grew up in quote, the South, Virginia, North Carolina, in that area, and it was just, you know, everybody ate pimento cheese. So I kind of like, where did it come from? Well, it actually did come from the southern United States. Google says South Carolina or Georgia, in that area. They don't know exactly where it came from, but it came from, you know, the farm locations where they had, you know, dairy and cheese, and because it can be made so easily. And when you have a lot of dairy, you try to be creative in how you can use the cheese. So I imagine that's where it came from. You can make it just as plain or just as complex as you want to. It uses pimentos, which is a pepper. It's a sweet pepper, and of course they can be canned, and so that was something you could have all year long. I also wanted to show you, this is my favorite cookbook, and as you can see, it has duct tape on the spine, and there's even some duct tape in the pages. This is the cookbook. It's a Betty Crocker cookbook. You can't see part of the words. It's the book my mother cooked out of when I was a little girl. As young as I can remember memories of my mother cooking, she used this cookbook, and I asked her recently, I'm like, "Mom, where did you get the Betty Crocker cookbook?" And she said, "I ordered it." She said, "I was in a book club, and book clubs used to be popular. Of course, you had to order, I think, a book every month or something like that. And she ordered this book." And I'm like, "Was there any particular reason you ordered the book?" And she said there was a cake recipe, and she told me which one it was, and I can't remember exactly, that she wanted to make. And so that's why she ordered this book. And this book is just so practical. It just has so many different things in it, and they're not, you know, like so fancy that you can't make them at home. It's great for a home cook. I love vintage cookbooks anyway, and I'm going to try to do more videos on some vintage recipes, just because I just love vintage cookbooks and vintage recipes, because to me they're just the best. But I looked in here to see, did they have a pimento cheese recipe, especially after I found out it was a southern thing. Well, there is no recipe named pimento cheese, and you'll have to forgive me, sometimes I say pimento. I know it's pimento. There's no R there, but I grew up saying pimento, and I know that's not right. So if you hear me call it pimento, then just overlook it, because, you know, old habits are hard to break. But in this cookbook, I went to the sandwich spreads, because there was no pimento cheese spread recipe. And they have a recipe here called golden cheese spread. And lo and behold, if I read the ingredients, it is pimento cheese. It uses shredded cheese, cream cheese, mayonnaise, and seasonings. And all you have to add is the pimentos, and you have pimento cheese. So I really like this recipe. But I just found it interesting that this recipe was in this book, and I think it's just wonderful. I look at a lot of recipes, but very rarely do I follow a recipe to the T, because I usually just look at a recipe to get the skeleton, the key parts of that recipe, and then I make it my own, and I encourage you to do the same. So let's go over the ingredients that we're going to need to make this pimento cheese. Of course, you're going to need some shredded cheese. Now here I have a bowl. It's about 2 cups or more of shredded cheddar. Now this is a restaurant shredded cheese that I purchased, so it does not have the cornstarch on it that the packaged shredded cheese that you buy is going to have. It's going to be coated in a little light coating of cornstarch that keeps it from sticking together, which is not ideal when you're making spreads and things like that. So you can use it, just be aware that if that is on there, and it's going to alter how things all meld together. But here's some just regular shredded cheese, and then here I shredded this from a block of extra sharp cheese, and I just shredded it, and I'm going to mix the two. You can use whatever kind of cheese you want. That it needs to be shredded, either pre-shredded, which is the less desirable, or get a block and shred it yourself. I think the sharp cheeses give a much better flavor. You don't have to use just one kind of cheese. You can mix it up and use whatever kind of cheese you want. Now I'm making a pretty big batch because I'm going to be making some little sandwiches for a church get-together, a little Christmas party that I'm having with the ladies. So I'm making a pretty big batch. But you really don't need this large amount, and I will, remember, in my videos the recipe will be down in the description, and I will give you the recipe for a regular size batch, but all the ingredients are the same. So you need your cheese, and you're going to need some mayonnaise. Now I have 2 cups of mayonnaise here. I may not use the full 2 cups, or I may need some more. I think this is going to be plenty, but I'll show you how to estimate when you have enough mayonnaise. And I am adding cream cheese in mine, and you don't have to use cream cheese, but I think the cream cheese just gives it a really rich, creamy flavor that you're just going to love. And it would not be pimento cheese without the pimentos. So here I have 1 cup of pimentos. They came in a can. You can buy them I think they're over like in the pickle area of the grocery store, but you can buy your pimentos and use them. Of course, I have drained as much of the water off as I can, and I'll probably drain them again before I put that in. You don't want all that extra liquid in your spread because that will make it too runny. And we have our seasonings, and these seasonings are optional, but I have garlic powder, black pepper, and onion powder, and that's what we are going to season our pimento cheese with. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my cream cheese, and I've got my stand mixer here. I'm going to put it in my stand mixer, and I am going to cream it, just get it a little soft, because cream cheese, you know, comes in a block and it's a little firm. So I'm just going to cream it a little soft, and then I'm going to add half of this mayonnaise and cream it. Okay, so I have my cream cheese here in the mixing bowl, and I'm just going to use my stand mixer, lock that in, and I am just going to turn this on low and let it go until everything gets pretty creamy, and then I'll add in the mayonnaise. If you are enjoying this video, to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the little bell so you'll get the notifications. Share this video with your friends and comment. It helps my channel so much if you leave comments below and hit the like button. You can ask me questions. You can just leave comments. Let me know you tried it or that you like it, and share it. That is a way that you can really help me promote my channel. I'm just going to add in a little bit of the mayonnaise to help it cream together. So I'm just going to add probably about a half a cup. And then we'll add more in a few minutes after we let this cream together. Okay, so it's gotten just a little creamy. I'm going to scrape the sides down one more time, and this time I'm going to turn the mixer on a little higher speed because it has gotten a little creamy, and I kind of almost want to whip it a little bit, but not exactly. So I am going to add most of my mayonnaise. I'm going to reserve a little bit because I'm not sure how much I will need since I didn't measure my cheese exactly. But I'm going to add in all but about a fourth of the mayonnaise that I have. And then I'm going to mix this together just a tap more. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add in my seasonings because I want to mix them in. So we're going to add in a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of onion powder. And I'm going to add in a scant teaspoon, not a full teaspoon, of black pepper. So I'm going to turn the mixer back on and mix this together. Okay, so that's looking pretty smooth and pretty mixed together, and we're going to come back over to the island and do the rest. So I transferred the mixture over to this glass bowl just so you could see it better. You could certainly do all your mixing in the mixing bowl and you wouldn't have to dirty up an extra bowl. But I transferred it over here, and I'm actually going to give it a taste because I want to make sure I have my seasoning correct. So just a tiny taste. I could just eat that on a sandwich. Delicious. So the first thing I want to do now, remember, drain as much liquid off of your pimentos as possible. We don't want soupy spread. So get as much of the water off of that as you can. As you can see, these are pretty dry. I drained them a second time after they sat there. I'm going to add those in and just stir them around a little bit. And then I'm going to add in my sharp cheddar. And just a little warning, if you're shredding cheese and sitting it out for all to see, beware. My family tried to eat mine before I could get it into my spread, because shredded cheese, especially fresh shredded cheese, is so good. Now, I'm just going to add about half of this for now, and I'm going to gently mix this together. Then we'll know if I need to add. I don't think I'm going to need more mayonnaise. You want it to be kind of thick, and it will get a little firmer once you refrigerate it. I'm going to add just a little more cheese. I'm not going to use all of that though. So hopefully you can see this. It looks beautiful, smells delicious. And there we have our beautiful pimento cheese spread. I did not have to use the rest of the mayo, and like I said, you're going to want to measure it, you know, estimate it in the beginning how much you're going to need, and then add more if you need it, but don't add it all at once, because if you do, then it's going to be too mayonnaise-y. So let's try this on a cracker and see how it tastes. So I have this cute little box of gourmet crackers that you can find this time of year, and I think I will try this has rosemary, I think, and sea salt in it. So I'm gonna try it on this. Make sure we did good. That is excellent. You'll want to refrigerate it after you make it. It should keep at least a week or 2 weeks in the refrigerator. I mean, it'll keep as long as these ingredients would keep. And it's just cheese and cream cheese and pimentos and some seasonings. So that'll keep for a long time in the refrigerator. And just take it out when you want to use it. And if it gets too firm, just let it set out and come to closer to room temperature and it'll soften up. But this is great, not just at the holidays, but any time of the year. Thanks for stopping by Butterfly Meadows Homestead. Bye-bye.